Hey there, Factionistas. Uncle Snussy here again, bringing you the second video in my collection. One of my faction mates actually gave me the idea for this video with a question they asked on Discord. And it has to do with this current contest that's going on for the next day, the Hall of Fame Showdown contest. These tournaments come up, they have been coming up about once every 2 weeks. And these are what I was talking about in my previous month-long event video, where I said Showdown is one of your single greatest individual sources of resources to help you develop your wrestlers and get stronger in this game. This contest, the rewards, if you hit top tier, the rewards for this contest are pretty significant. You would end up with about 5,600 Showdown coins, which means about 11,000 Showdown coins in the 2 tournaments for the month. You'd end up with about 6 million of the regular coins for development, which means 12 million of those coins for the month, and then you'd end up with about 3,000 of these keychains. Okay, but nothing too great. And then in this particular case, there's usually at least one prize that's kind of unique to the month-long event. In this case, it's these tokens, Hall of Fame Evo tokens for some of the new wrestlers. So you look at this, and you look at this score here, and you go into the contest rules, and you try to figure out like how long or how much you're going to have to play this to get to that reward, and it can seem pretty daunting. The key to this whole thing, to keep you from burning out and just giving up, the key to this whole thing has to do with your notoriety level when the witching hour hits in this game, to reset and give people their weekly reward for Showdown coins. I didn't want to turn this into a complete Showdown tutorial, so I'm going to keep it a little bit quick and simple. But if you've been playing this game for any period of time and you go and do typical Showdown, you typically have a men's division, a women's division, and a mixed division Showdown. And these, if you participate for the week, these give you a weekly reward that hits tonight. And it hits tonight about an hour prior to when this reset occurs, and in this case it's about 8 hours and 9 minutes. And what they do is, prior to the reset, it's based on where are you at in this tier. So in this particular case, I'm World League 2, right? And so Scopely has some sort of math about if you're in this league, you get a certain amount of weekly reward for Showdown coin. And so the big deal in a tournament week is the difference between this being close to your weekly reward or something more than that. This is an old picture. And this being your weekly reward. So that's 17,000 Showdown coins in a weekly reward. So when you get 17,000 of these coins, times the amount of reward you're getting for the coins in this tournament, combined with the Showdown coins you collect in the tournament, it's actually not that hard to get to the top tier. So anyway, so what you have to do to get that big reward is in the specific tournament for this day, the Hall of Fame Showdown tournament. We don't have as many tiers as you have in a typical tournament that runs all the time. You have amateur, you have competitor, you have professional, you have champion, right? And so I'm almost at notoriety 3,000 in the men's division right now. All you got to do to get to the top tier is get above 500. So you're going to start the competition here. Your bar that you can fill is 100. If you get past notoriety 299 up to 300, your bar is going to change to 1,000. You're going to get about 100 Showdown coins per match won. When your bar gets past this 499 mark, you're going to move up into the Champion League. Your bar is going to open 7,500 Showdown coins. You're going to get 150 coins for every win. So the key to this whole thing is getting above this number, 500, and staying above that number when the system does its analysis of what league you're in and then dishes out the weekly reward. So you got to be above 500. You got to have filled this bar, which I think is about 44 matches, 43 matches, plus the matches you did to get up through these areas. So count on about 60 matches. So you got to have the health pack resource to be able to do that, or you got to have a strong enough team to not have a real heavy health pack need. And so those items combined will get you there. So we'll call it 60 wins. We'll call it, filling this bar all the way up and then holding that position above 500. And we'll say in about 7 hours of the time that this video is recording, which is about 6 o'clock Central Time in my case right now. So what are you going to need in this particular case? This is I went back too far. This is a mixed tournament. So your tag team is going to be male and female. Luke Harper is my primary offensive weapon. You don't need a 4-star gold. You don't to make this happen. Where it gets easier for me at being at 4-star gold is my ability to hold my notoriety above that 500 mark. So when I was running, 4-star bronze male, 4-star bronze female, I had to kind of plan my attack to be closer to when this time was going to happen. In order to basically, I'd have to keep fighting and winning matches to keep myself above notoriety 500 long enough to make sure that I was there when that reset happened. Because I could only get my notoriety up to maybe about 600, 650, and so to keep it up there when people are attacking you and dragging it back down, I'd have to keep fighting and winning matches to basically hold, tread water and hold myself above the line. At this point, having a 4-star gold male and female in the mix, I can get above that mark and I can hold it easier. I'm getting attacked less. I'm losing matches less. I can get my notoriety way higher, and it can just slowly drift down throughout the evening, and I don't have to worry about it as much. But if you don't have people that are that strong, if you have a 4-star bronze male and a 4-star bronze female, or maybe even a 3-star gold female, and you're aggressive enough and you have the health packs to stay in it, then you can begin your attack. And, use this time. I want to say it takes me somewhere between 2 hours and 30 minutes and 3 hours and 30 minutes to fill that 7,500 bar. And so, I would typically I'd start my attack maybe a little bit later than now. But if you want to experiment and just kind of see how things will go for you, then I would recommend that you start doing that right now. And you want to do that today, day one of the tournament. You don't want to pop in tomorrow morning and start doing it, because then you miss the weekly reward handout. So again, sum up. Got to get your notoriety above 500. Got to fill this bar. You'll get the bigger reward, and you'll actually find once you claim this reward tomorrow, if you get up there, once you claim that along with the 7,500 that you filled in the contest, you'll be almost completely to the highest tier in the competition to collect all the max rewards. You will have to fight and win some matches tomorrow. I typically will go ahead and fill the bar again tomorrow when it resets tonight, because I want the Showdown coins. There's stuff that pops up in the Showdown store all the time that is helpful to me, and so I want to get it. And I also want to keep my Showdown coin store high enough that if Hacksaw Jim Duggan happens to appear in there, as I've been told he is in there. I want to have enough to be able to get him when he shows up, because if I don't have if he shows up, if that rare event happens where he shows up and I don't have enough coins, I'm going to be pissed. But anyway, as you can probably tell, I don't have Hacksaw Jim Duggan. That's why I'm saying that. So anyway, that's the tournament. If we actually could get to a point where, oh, and real quick, before I forget, let me go back here. Go ahead and take care of the men's, women's, and mixed as well, because these coins are going to count, right? So go ahead and fill those today, fill those tomorrow. Every bit helps, right? But the other thing I wanted to talk about was there's a faction contest, a Hall of Fame Showdown faction contest. So this one, same scoring system basically as the other one, but it's about how we do as a group. And there's rewards in here too. There's no coin, but there's a lot of tokens and there's a lot of ingots, and that would be helpful to everyone in the group. I think, I don't know the exact math on how many of us would have to go through this process every other weekend in order for us to max this out, but I want to say it's somewhere in the 70 to 80 person range. So if we had 70 to 80 faction members that were all developing their team and going into the tournament and maxing out that Showdown coin bar to 7,500, holding themselves above a 500 notoriety when that reset occurs, we would get max benefit out of these Showdowns every 2 weeks, and that would be super helpful to the whole faction. So I have a dream that one of these days we're going to get to that mark. I have confidence in the people in this group that they can make that happen. So the final thing I'd want to talk about is perks. So Showdown perks, if you remember one of my previous conversations, I said to me my most important perk is the tour perk to accomplish the individual goals for the month. My second most important is the Showdown perks. Showdown perks, primarily what I am concerned about is trying to neutralize some of the edge of my opponent, right? So if you aren't familiar with how perks work, and I actually haven't gone in and looked at perks, so I'm going to be flying a little bit blind. All right, real quick, these are the perks that I had actually purchased and maxed out last month. These perks are still effective for the next day for this last Showdown tournament. I needed to go in and unlock the slots, but I didn't need to actually fill these back in. I just could re-equip them. This perk right here is the most important perk in my opinion. I focus on maxing this out first every month. Basically, you're reducing the starting MP of your opponent by 5. That is a MP trainer neutralizer. So that's going to give you the ability to get your moves filled without necessarily their moves being filled by their MP trainer, right? You're going to have opponents that don't have this perk, so your MP trainers are going to work for your people, but their MP trainers are not going to work for their people. And that is going to be very helpful. There are more teams now that the right pairing has a very large MP boost. Tyler Breeze and Prince Petty come to mind, and then the new Hulk, Mr. T one. So they get a +4 MP just for a link, but this is a mixed match, right? We don't have we have a male-female match, so they're not going to be able to use both those people, so they're not going to get that link. So having their MP reduced by 5 is going to be a really strong advantage, because you're going to take out their MP trainers. They're going to start with their moves at 0. That's going to give you multiple turns to get an opportunity to fill your stuff, get them knocked out, right? And not necessarily have to spend all the health packs, because you're able to get those wins. And in my case, I'm also running with this other perk right here, because I'm using I'm using Striker. Oh my gosh, Striker Harper. Yes, Striker Harper. Um, and so he does multiply gems, and so being able to create +2 multiply gems is nice. There's some defensive perks too that knock out their ability to do silence gems and to do just any color gem creation. Those are helpful too if you're having trouble with the zombie the zombie Austins of the world and stuff. With this silence gems being turned into stun moves and stuff that can help to keep that from happening and get those wins there. So anyway, real quick, talk about something else. Opponent selection, right? I know when I fight, kind of my goal is in these mixed matches is to force my opponent to be the one to tag first, because that gives me the ability to control the match. Because if my opponent tags in the female first, I have the ability to immediately tag my female back out and get my male in there. So if I've been spending this time weakening the male, and he's getting close to being pinned and I get the win, and then he tags the female in, I can just immediately tag the female back out and force the male back in and finish what I was doing. It's not always what I do. Maybe my match isn't going good on the male side, so maybe I want to actually face the female and take the female out. I mean, Wendy Richter at 4-star gold, and I'm going up against a 4-star bronze. I might be able to get a quick pin there and win the match going female versus female. So I don't always do that, but a lot of times what ends up happening is I'm whittling down the male opponent, and then he tags the female in, and then my female comes in, and then I might also do a move to help fill my moves with the female, and then after that move go ahead and tag my male back in and finish the job. Don't be shy if you don't see great choices. Don't be shy about hitting this refresh and using up some coin. I put a personal limit on myself that the instant this hits 12,500 coin, I'm not doing it. I'm just going to have to swallow hard and face whatever teams came up. What I'm mostly interested in when I'm looking at the teams I'm going to face is a couple of things in these cases. So I'm looking at who do I have an advantage over, right? I have an advantage over purple. So these are crap. I wish they'd fixed them. They've been messed up forever. But you kind of got to know who the people are. So I have a pretty good idea who the purple people are. So when I see the purple person pop up, I'm a purple people eater, and so that's what I'm going after, right? I want that bonus that I get, the 25 gem dam bonus, especially with a striker where gem damage is like one of your #1 things. The other thing I may look for is, do they have a really weak female? Because if they have a really weak female, I could tag in a strong female. I can win the match pretty quick that way. Ideally, I don't want a tag to happen at all. I want speed in these matches. I want to win these matches fast. But if that's the case, that's the case. The other thing I'm going to be paying attention to is this right here. Strong tag team links I might shy away from. It's going to help to kind of for you to familiarize yourself with some of the images of some of the stronger tag team links that are out there, and kind of avoid those teams. But don't be shy about hitting that refresh button, see who your next 3 are, and don't be shy about hitting that refresh button again to see if maybe option door number 3 has some better options for you to win a match and minimize the damage that you take, right? Remember, if this works, you're getting 6 million coin, right? So spending 2,500 coin here, 2,500 coin there, a little 5,000s in there every once in a while, And then sometimes I get to the door number 3, and in the days before I had somebody 4-star gold, I might end up with somebody who's going to kick my butt, right? And I just got to take that hit, and I got to go, and I either got to heal them up with health packs, or I got to throw them in for faction heals and keep going. But I think that's it. There's more information, but again, I'm already at 20 freaking minutes. I'll cut this down in editing to hopefully get that down a little bit quicker. But That's the information that off the top of my head is important information for y'all. All right. So good luck out there. I'm gonna cut this video up, get it out. I'm probably not gonna spend a lot of time on throwing any funny stuff in there this time because I got some work to do. Right? I got some Showdown I got to get done. So the time is of the essence. The clock is running. So good luck out there, faction mates, and I'll see you on the other side. All right. Bye.